What's Up When, the third part. I really, truly, and like violently wanted that for my children. Yeah, so I made observations of the much better place to grow up in. And I wanted to leave the world, but these people who are despisers of those who do good chose to, like, you know, drag me behind. I left the life, yeah, my uncle. I left the life, yeah, my aunt. The life of my mom and dad. The life of these people that never give their lives to Christ. And so because they don't give their lives to Samantha, they just keep living debauched lives until they're old. And I didn't want that. But the world around me refused. So just like Uma Thurman in Kill Bill, I made that analogy in the earlier video. Just like Uma in Kill Bill, I discovered I was pregnant, tantamount of pregnant. Something that made a woman that was an assassin decide to stop the life of an assassin and be a regular Jane marrying some regular Joe in some regular town where nobody, like where everybody knows them. Everybody knows their names because it's like that tiny small town thing. Just go and get married and make yourself Beatrix Kiddo. How about you just become Beatrix Kiddo and forget about being, what was her assassin name? You get my point. Yeah. I wanted to be Beatrix Kiddo because I realized it made no sense at all to be anything but. Wanted to raise kids in a church and stuff. Wanted my kids to, if they wanted, you know, join little pageants and so be trained to discipline and keeping themselves in a bunch and striving. The thing about pageants is that they teach kids to, what do you call this? To aspire for lots of accolades and acquisitions, because the more accolades and acquisitions you have, the more regarded you are as a beauty queen. They tend to get very educated. They get they keep themselves in a bunch. They don't do random things on social media. They don't upload videos where they're twerking. Do you understand? They develop talents, singing, dancing, whatever, so as to showcase it. They do volunteer work. They study at school. They make sure that they do well because it stands in their favor as beauty queens to be an academic, to be accepted into, you know, the best universities in the country, to be. So frankly, if I had followed the path of a beauty queen, just like I joined Miss Winchester Ridge Primary as a child, I probably would not have even hung out with some of the women, you know, that I hung out with. Some of the men that I hung out with, I probably would not have given them too much of my time because I'm too busy trying to ultimately become Miss South Africa. Like, I'm literally trying to become Miss South Africa. Cannot be found, and I can get busy go taboo like 3 shots of Stroram. I cannot, for crying out loud, be found go Zuleki dancing on a car, like drinking Savannah Tate in one sitting. I can't. I gotta be seen on campus at school. I have to keep on being in the university library. That's where I'm at. I gotta study. I gotta basically have a good answer to give when judges are asking me questions about what under heaven it is that I'm gonna do for the future. I've gotta be a good girl. So if I had stayed in beauty pageants, even though I might not have won some of them, even though I might have come out disappointed in some of them, I would have kept myself in a bunch for the sake of my career as a beauty queen. And I would have graduated on time, likely even gotten a scholarship to enter into university, because I would have stayed like studying really hard, increasing my grades, making sure that I'm doing well, and also making sure that I'm not just dating anybody that might just wreak havoc in my reputation. I wouldn't have done that. Some of the guys that I dated would never have gotten a shot with me if I was busy trying to be Mr. John, if I was busy trying to be Miss like whatever, give me like Miss Johannesburg. If I was busy trying to be Miss South Africa, I would, for the life of me, whether or not I won, I would have kept myself in a bunch. Irrespective of winning, I would have kept myself in a bunch. Beauty contests are, of course, unfortunate in the sense that they can be immodest. Women's bodies, 1 minute. Women's bodies are just paraded, you know, all up in everybody's grill at beauty pageants in a way that I find unfortunate. They should be all dressed up. The swimming costume component of them can go, frankly, because like proper, what's going on over there? Yeah, but that's like a Christian perspective, right? But everything else about them you cannot throw out like proper. Cannot throw out the baby with the bathwater. Over there, they are trained how to answer questions. They're trained how to interview. Basically, these women go through a lot, okay, just to become Miss South Africa. And the thing that they go through keeps them in a bunch. They tend to not be like everybody else. All these other girls that are busy getting drunk in the club, these aspiring beauty queens keep themselves out of the club. They proper keep themselves out of the club. So if I had done all that, right? If I had basically followed what I was supposed to follow, I would not have made the mistakes I made in life, and I would not now be dealing with such shoddy, horrific, horrendous, excellently catastrophic ex-boyfriends that I dated. I would not have frequented the aisles of certain people. I likely would not have even hung out all that much with my cousin. Yeah, so I probably would not be the bane, or she would not be the bane of my existence and the central focus of her envy. My older sister also wanted to do beauty pageants because she recognized the propelling power of beauty pageants. I don't know what made my older sister decide not to go out like that, but there was a time when my older sister was thoroughly investigating the prospect of joining Miss South Africa. I don't know what made her stop. I don't know what made her decide not to, but she wanted to become Miss South Africa, and she could have if she wanted to, right? But she chose not to for the same reasons that I guess I'm explaining right now, that beauty queens are trained a lot of discipline. A lot of discipline, and the country tends to also be very proud of them. They're girls that get protected, for crying out loud, in a way that these men all over the show are not protecting everybody else. So I would have been in the right space. But sorry for you, Garabo. You decided to go and be a fool, sister girl. You decided to go and be a fool. Another thing about beauty pageant ladies, they also like have to keep themselves in a bunch in terms of their bodies. So I would have disciplined myself to also join the gym young. There was just so much. You know, that's the sad and disquieting thing about a mother that does not see much in her own child. My mom was one of the biggest reasons why I did not do certain things in life, because she never thought of me as beautiful. If anything, the only reason I even entered Miss Winchester Ridge was because a teacher advised me to. But it was never my mom. You know, it was never my mom. It was never anybody from home. Yeah, but I guess postpartum depression will do that to a woman, where you don't see value in your own child. That's what's good. Yeah. So when I got to a certain age, I did not want, for crying out loud, to just continue in the same grain. I'm a beautiful woman. I had already sort of kind of missed certain milestones in my life. I couldn't do certain things that I should have done anymore, but I was not about to allow my daughter to miss out on them too. So I wanted to give my kids the best shot more lifing that I possibly could. I would have not so much trained my kid to do beauty pageants, because no, I wouldn't have gone out like that. I'm not a fan because of, one, the immodesty, secondly, it's a very it's terrible. Some, like, it can create shallowness in women, but never mind shallowness, also it can be hugely competitive. If she wanted to, I wouldn't mind, but God definitely does not want women prancing around in bikinis all over the show. So that's like a challenge for me. But what it is that beauty pageants have produced in some of the women in this world, in this country, guys, is astronomical. I mean, only just look at Basetsani Khumalo. What it is that she became because of having won Miss South Africa. Or yeah, Peggy Sue is another one. All of these women that are now just these prolific business women, they were catapulted by the beauty by winning pageants. Karishni Naika, they won beauty pageants, and that's why they got to where they got. That's why they're still so popular. But no, Miss Universe is out here trying to like place men in that position. They've apparently filed for bankruptcy, guys, for making a man win Miss Universe. Anyway, whatever. Another story for another day that we're not currently discussing. That particular point, Ginta, all of this hair, because I want my hair free from the bonds that I have subjugated it to for months on end. Anyhow, oh no, what is happening, Lana? Hey, please just come out, ne? Don't make me have to cut this thing. Do I have to cut it? Do I have to cut it, yo? I don't think it's necessary, but we do not know. Anywho, yeah, disciplined girls, there's a way to make your daughters disciplined without shoving down a disciplinarian rod down their throat, without basically coercing them. You know, kids struggle very much with honoring instructions because they are just born liars. We are born dead in trespasses and sins. They are also born rebellious, born dead in trespasses and sins. But I mean, when you keep on telling a little baby girl that she's a pretty girl in a pretty world, she might not realize that you're actually trying to use the pageantry industry as a rod on her back. Yeah, there are just ways to discipline children in a way that they don't feel like joining extracurricular activities, giving them what do you call this? Like sending them to dance lessons, classes, giving them a guitar, giving them a piano. Like kids that are little musical proteges tend to not be in the club too much, you know what I mean? Like kids that can sing really well and have YouTube channels where they're busy out there doing covers tend to not be booty hopping on some dance floors every weekend. There are ways to make sure that your girl don't get wayward without asking them not to get wayward. You know, you don't gotta say it, because the moment you say it, that's when they decide to rebel. Just because they can type establishment thing. Yeah, I made those observations. I became wise, sort of, or at least I sought after wisdom. I recognized the value of wisdom, and I sought it, and Christ gave it to me. But after I got born again, then there was like this random rubbish where people were like, not on my watch, you little animal, you crazy animal, you insane animal, you are not going to be holy all up in my grill. You're not gonna do better, Karabo. Your daughters are gonna be predictably just like you. They are going to miss out on their pretty face. They're not gonna win no pageants. They're not gonna sing even though they can. They're not gonna win no competition. They're not gonna do no YouTube covers. They're not gonna play no guitar. They're not gonna play no piano. Your daughters ain't gonna do jack except just gather dust. They will have a musical gift, a musical talent. They will have an appreciation for song, but they will just keep on swaying left to right to other people's music. And even then in a nightclub, instead of actually in and of themselves making that music. You see, they are, what do you call this thing? There are ways to raise children in discipline, and kids that tend to be focused on their giftings tend to steer clear on the things that make a lot of kids get into trouble. But later on in life, there are issues with such children as well, because they are the stars of the world. So you're dealing with a little bit of a Katy Perry. They're the stars of the world, right? They are very talented, they're very gifted, they're very focused. They are Miss Universe, for crying out loud. Guys, please ignore my underarm hairs, and I don't have time to shave. Okay, yeah, they are Miss Universe and Miss Everything. So because these kids are as gifted as they are wanted by the world, and so there is always a challenge that they might end up like Katy Perry. In other words, Bazo, they're gonna just tarry away from what makes sense. And that for me was where it is that the Bible came in. Teach a child in the way that he should go or she should go, and when he's older he will not depart from it. Like, raise a child in the admonition of the Lord. Raise them in the admonition of the Lord, and pray to God to keep that kid on the straight and narrow so they don't tarry away from him. Children raised in musical households tend to stay good up to a point when they're busy out getting scooped up by the entertainment industry. That's the problem. Chloe and Halle Bailey were such good girls until they got taken up by Hollywood. Katy Perry, good girl till she got taken up by Hollywood. Mariana, she was just greedy, she was rapacious. That's why she went awry. Beyonce, and Kelly and them, good girls until they got taken up by the entertainment industry. I mean, to think Beyonce has slept with no one but Jay-Z. I mean, guys, that makes her a cut above literally most of us. Do you understand? And the thing that kept her like panties in a bunch and not sleeping with boys in her high school was the fact that she was too busy training, practicing, dancing. Do you understand? So there is a way to keep girls and boys on the straight and narrow, but you see, it is these very talented girls and boys that are on the straight and narrow as kids that the devil corrupts later on. But that is the environment or the ecosystem that comes in where you train a child. Like, your kid must not tarry from God, from Jesus. You gotta teach them that, honey, you got gifts, you got talents, you can sing, but remember, yours is to sing for the Lord. Like, instill the fear of the Lord in the child so that if they pursue a career in music, they can only do gospel or stay on YouTube. Like, there is this woman that is so violently gifted. I am so in love with her music. I'm busy, like, just now before I came to talk here, I was listening to some songs of hers. Her name is okay, my hands are all oily. Let me go to YouTube. Latasha Lee, right? She is so talented. She gives me that Amy Winehouse vibe. And she, however, is not Amy. Why? Because she stayed off the entertainment industry. She has got a YouTube channel. She's doing music on YouTube. And that's where she's staying. There's also another guy on YouTube by the name of Joseph Solomon. Like, insofar as you stay on YouTube, like Chloe and Halle Bailey, if they had stayed on YouTube, they would have been able to maintain their virtue, still make their millions, still make lots of money, still make good, clean music, without really stumbling anybody. But in the moment they got signed over to the entertainment industry, that's when everything fell apart. So these kids like should essentially just kind of stay off the entertainment industry. I remember earlier when I was even listening to Latasha Lee thinking that thank God for YouTube, even though it's messing up with my particular life. But the thing about YouTube is that it enables regular Janes and Joes that are very gifted to not have to basically vie for the entertainment industry. It makes very beautiful voices not have to sign their souls to the devil. YouTube enables the pianist kid to make a healthy living insofar as they're not greedy, rapacious, and hungry and thirsty for fame, world fame. They can make quite a handsome living on just YouTube. Because the moment they get taken up by mainstream media, that's when they lose all virtue. I mean, just listen to like 2 seconds of this lady. I don't want to be, what do you call this? I don't want to be copywritten, so I think if I just take like 10 seconds of her music, I'll be good. Listen.
Your butt can walk, but now you wanna use me. Now you wanna great abuse me.
Okay, her name is Latasha Lee. Her music is just like, I am obsessed. I am addicted. I am a fan. I found her by mistake, by happenstance, and she's only on YouTube, right? She has albums and stuff, but she's not signed to anybody, and that for me is good. Why? Because she then is maintained. She keeps herself healthy spiritually. She keeps herself clean. Do you understand? She keeps herself without having to sign any dirty contracts, and therefore use your very excruciating talent for the devil. Like, there is absolutely no need for like all of this compromise in the music industry with like hypersexuality and whatnot when you've got this kind of talent.
It's so confusing. I'm getting tired.
I mean, when you got that kind of talent, when your voice sounds like that, you don't need to be stripping down, you don't need whatever. But anyway, whatever. These are the things that I made an observation of when I was not newly saved, but when I was about 25-ish, you know, I was kind of disillusioned. I knew that I wanted more. I coveted kids that grew up in churches. Like when I was in high school, my friends, all of them, I used to go to church every Sunday, except one used to go to a Jehovah's Witness church, but they went to churches nonetheless. And they had that camaraderie, that friendship, that extended fellowship with kids outside of school. They met other children that were also like-minded, and I envied that. I really envied that. I did not have any such a thing, so I mean, like, given that I get to make decisions as to how I'm gonna roll with my children, I wanted kids growing up esontweni, making friends out of children in the church, and also using their talents. And I was also going to take my kids for training. I've always wanted to know how to play the guitar. I've always had a musical gift, but never musical enablement, right? I've always just loved music. That's what I'm trying to explain to you guys. I even bought a guitar hoping to start to learn. Just before I lost my job, I got fired for no cause, so I was not able to take lessons type thing. I just have a guitar now. It's just like chilling in storage. Even the strings have been removed, type thing. But yeah, I have a thing about the acoustic guitar next to a singing voice. It's just beautiful, like stuff like Tori Kelly type vibes. Like, you will absolutely fall in love with that kind of talent. But you see, Tori starts to fall apart when she joins Hollywood. That's the issue. Like, Tori Kelly is like even a perfect example. Like a girl that it wasn't broken, but then she fixed it. Tori Kelly, Chloe and Halle Bailey wasn't broken, tried to fix it because they allowed themselves to sign contracts with Hollywood, even though they had these massive YouTube channels, and they could have frankly just continued to make money healthily, live a very healthy life, you know, above reproach, without signing to the devil. YouTube enables that. It enables that. It is a platform where young talent, old talent, whatever talent, can just put itself online and not have to sign some nefarious deal in order to make money. Plus, everything is yours. I mean, I guess YouTube gets a cut in that it's ad revenue and what have you, but you don't have to sign contracts that linger into years with random nasties that are thoroughly trying to steal your soul too, trying to get you to take off your clothes, trying to tell you. I mean, with Chloe and Hailey, it was not broken and they fixed it. It was not broken and they fixed it. It's just the worst thing. And apparently they've been estranged, those girls, from their parents because of how licentious, especially Gimang Halle has become. Chloe, is it Chloe? No, Chloe's the one that's like all booty hopping and all over the show. Halle is the ethereal one with the little mermaid, right? Yeah. Apparently they have been estranged from their parents because of how licentious they have. Well, especially the other one, Chloe. has become. Yeah, I wanted something like that for my children, but without them compromising with the entertainment industry. Okay, can see that all of my hair. Now I'm going to moisturize it, all of it in a bunch, My hair is not matted, not as much anyway. Let's just hope for the best. Look at how nasty black it is. I did wash this hair on Gingy Tuesday, guys. It's Saturday now, so I don't wash my hair every week or even every day. It's just not something that happens in the black community, just in case you were wondering. So like, yeah, don't come at me with a flying kick. We don't do flying kicks, we just do excellence. Okay, cool. Yeah, guys. Yeah. So Chloe, not Chloe, sorry, never mind Chloe, but me over here, Karazicious. When I got to a certain age, I wanted more. I knew that what I was living was kind of empty. If anything, I was already thinking these things when I was dating my ex already. But by the time that I was thinking these things extra deep, we had broken up. So now he was no longer even part of the discussion. The narrative was changing in my life. And then upon giving this life of mine over to Jesus interrogations, Jesus wonderings, Jesus concerns, Jesus curiosities, that's when everybody was like, ah, and they started to like gnash their teeth at me. Like Papa out here growling. Hey Batu, randoms out here sounding like zombies over my dead body. I went on right ahead and I gave my life to Christ anyway, despite them growling, because I wanted more. And I wanted children that were going to be Miss Universe. And then like just like put on some clothes already, like stop it type thing, and stop with the bikini type establishment thing. But my kids never got to be Mr. John, Miss High School, Miss Neighborhood Community. My daughters never got to be disciplined by pageants. My daughters never got to be disciplined by the guitar, by draining the orchestra. My children never got to be disciplined by a music teacher that absolutely adores them. My children never got to do any of that because my children never got to be born. Sure. As with Satan. Hey, guys. Satan. Beelzebub, what did I ever do to deserve your Beelzebub other than want Jesus? That's just the thing. Last days conglomerate, out here rolling around in these uneasy, uncomfortable streets, thoroughly thwarting people's dreams, making themselves little nightmares in innocents' lives. It's like, as in, do you look at the chochaiki? Mark yourself a chochaiki. Do that, ne? But understand, okay, language for going forward. Understand that this activity of yours of making yourselves chochaikis at the expense of innocent souls, God Almighty is a corrector, is a fixer, and He will have nothing to do with all this coercion. I had a dream, you guys, where these chochaikis, I saw a few of them in the entertainment industry, and I will tell you exactly who I saw, ne? That were like chochaikis. And of course, this is not the capacity of these people in waking life, because they don't know me, I don't know them. That's what's good. I had a dream, ne? And God is showing me these guys likely because of the fact that what is this? They started out really good in life because of their talents and their ambitions. You know, when kids are what do you call this? When kids are focused on getting somewhere, they tend to stay out of trouble, including artists in the entertainment industry. They tend to stay out of trouble. Like, think about Beyonce and Kelly and basically those girls but Destiny's Child. They stayed out of trouble. They were good girls in comparison to all the other girls of their generation, of their age group. Do you understand? And then they join the entertainment industry and they proliferate a message now that they're part of the entertainment industry that even they did not walk in. Even they did not do it. Like, they did not act like such fools when they were kids because they were so focused on attending auditions. They were so focused on getting the job, the gig. They were so focused on ultimately winning a competition that they stayed on the straight and narrow. And then once they are in the entertainment industry, these unfortunate little lullabies, okay, I shall call them lullabies because they're properly like sleeping, okay, these uneasy unfortunate lullabies of children become stars, ne? They ultimately make it as celebrities. And then they proliferate a nasty agenda. In my dream, I saw in particular Jada Pinkett and Terrence Howard. Like, guys, I don't watch enough in like TV to be focused on Terrence Howard or Jada and what they're doing. But God saw it fit to use Terrence Howard and Jada Pinkett. So I don't know, maybe it's because their history is such that when they were kids on the come up, they were such good girls and boys. They were so like above reproach. They were just such excellent kids. They had so many talents and they were busy honing in on all of them and gunning for their dreams, that they essentially were supposed to be, you know, some of the best human beings on the earth later on. But then they compromised and settled. And in my dream, I saw a very young version of Terrence Howard, like as in teenage age, and a very young version of Jada Pinkett, right? They were all a crew of friends. I was a crew of friends with them. We were friends, all of us, but I was what I was when I was a kid, right? I told you guys that when I was a kid, I was very shy. I was quiet. I was reserved. I did not talk much. You know, I would sometimes even get teased for having halitosis. I didn't have halitosis, but they would accuse, like basically say, Karabo, you've got like a bad breath. You might get a bad breath if you don't start talking. Like you're too quiet type establishment thing. Yeah, that was me as a child. And I was like that in my dream. I was very shy. I was very quiet. I was reserved. I wasn't saying anything the whole time. And my crew of friends included, it was basically a whole bunch of people that I saw in my dream, including Jada Pinkett and Terrence Howard. Jada Pinkett and Terrence Howard, okay, were my friends. They were like, yeah, like always hanging out. We were all always hanging out, but I was very shy. And Jada used to kept on like teasing me, right? And talking sort of kind of like, boo, what's wrong with you? Why are you so quiet? Like, come on. And they all made a joke out of me. And at that stage, I was who it is that I was as a kid, always have been as a child. But remember, I was shy, so nobody really knew what I had going for myself because of the fact that Mengtulile, my shyness is what it is that caused a lot of misunderstanding of my person. The people did not really know what I had inside, and today they would be shocked, they would be surprised to find this out about me, this person that I am now, because I was so quiet. And in my dream, Terrence Howard was a friend, so too was Jada. And just like I used to get teased for being quiet and basically not having much to offer in the room, they were mocking me. They were mocking me. Both of them, Terrence and Jada, were mocking me. Okay? Now, Terrence Howard, from what I understand, right, he's not just an actor, he's extremely musically talented too. He can sing, and I believe he plays instruments, right? I'm not really sure which ones. I only discovered this when I watched Empire once upon a time and realized that Terrence Howard could have gone both ways. He could have become a musician if he wanted, or an actor, but he chose acting, I guess. Much like, I guess, Tyrese figured that maybe there's just more longevity in acting because you can do it for so long. But so too can you also in music. But the genre of music that you do can restrict you in terms of age. Like if you do rap, at some point you gotta stop, you know what I mean? But if you do soul, then I guess you can continue on and on and on type establishment thing. Anyway, whatever. But here's Jay-Z still rapping at his like basically geriatric age. But anyway, whatever. Not everybody gets to be Jay-Z. That's what I'm trying to explain to you guys. Yeah, and in my dream, Jada Pinkett and Terrence Howard were busy teasing me, right? You know how handsome Terrence Howard is? Right, him with those light eyes of his, and just umuntle, he's just a very handsome man type establishment thing. I developed a crush on Terrence Howard in my dream. He was a teenager, as was I in my dream, just like Jada was also a teenager, as was I in my dream. Terrence Howard, like I said, musically talented, right, in for real, but he chose acting. Jada has always been acting type establishment thing, but she was always hanging out around musicians. And Jada was, I mean, goodness, a flame in her day. You guys know, or Jada Pinkett, like y'all know that, right? And in my dream, it was no different. She was hugely sought after. In my dream, she was beautiful. Every girl was intimidated by her, just as she is exactly that was exactly that back in the day on the come up, just an excruciating flame. And the two of them It wasn't just the two of them, but there were the celebrities that were highlighted in my dream, right? There were other people there that I did not know, that I did not recognize, that were hanging out in this crew of friends. And I was the one person that was not talking very much. I was very quiet in my dream. And I developed, like I said, I developed a crush on Terrence Howard in my dream. But because of how shy I was and because of how popular he was, right? He was already very popular with the girls, the boys, everybody loved him. And I was the shy, quiet girl that ain't nobody even trying to look at me. And if anything, everybody is busy teasing me because I'm not talking. I'm just so quiet. I therefore had like a burning crush in my heart. Like I just had a crush on a guy that did not know, that I could not tell, that I imagined I didn't even stand a chance with. So it was just basically this like murderous crush. It was just killing me inside by myself, and I just like basically swallowed it whole and did nothing with it. Okay? Burning low-key inside my heart over Terrence Howard. Jada was busy teasing me about my quiet disposition, but not in a mean-spirited fashion. She was just playing around the way that kids play. And I was just like chuckling there on some, no guys, leave me alone, whatever. Just chuckling, but low-key wishing that I wasn't as shy as I was. Okay? Next thing, I go to a house, alright? Like in this dream, I go to a house where one of my former friends that put witchcraft on me, a girl that I met at varsity, okay? She was in this house, basically still doing exactly what it is that she did to me later on. She was still messing with my life, my future, my prospects for marriage, my everything. She was typical, having no idea that I hang out, like I'm friends with, I chill with Jada Pinkett and Terrence Howard. They're my friends, but this is Jada in like before she even gets known for what it is that she is, right? She is yet to be Jada that we know her in the entertainment industry. She's still a kid. So too is Terrence Howard, just some high school boy. Yeah, I'm hanging out with them though. These are like future prolific stars type establishment thing. And this girl, I go to a house where she's at, and she treats me very typically in this dream, like the way that my friends have treated me thus far. Like I'm no one, like I'm nothing, like I'm bewitchable, like I'm just going to go and grab whatever talents you have and bury them in the ground on your behalf. I'm just gonna go on right ahead and mess up with your life, Karabo. And I will not care that you hang out with Jada and that you hang out with Terrence. Who cares? Because nobody knows who Jada is. Nobody knows who Terrence is. Just one really beautiful girl and one really handsome guy. But they're no one. They're just like regular Janes and regular Joes. However, that are very cute and very popular. Yeah. So I go to this house and this girl is still treating me like the way that people in my life are treating me today. Okay? And after going there, remember I was initially hanging out with Terrence Howard and Jada and some other people. I go telling myself to this place, to this friend, not saying anything, sorry. And this girl treats me, right, the exact same way that I'm currently being treated by pretty much everybody in my life. And in so treating me like this, I then return back to Terrence and Jada and co. Sad. I go back to these people sad. Alright? On some, I don't even say anything. Remember, I'm shy. I'm quiet. And that's who it is that I am. I just, however, am sad. When I come back, there is an obviousness about my sad disposition. But I don't say anything. Terrence Howard then goes to where it is that I came from. Remember, I had a crush on him. Right? He goes to where it is that I came from. And then he kills, like as in murders, like as in neutralizes my friend, my former friend that pulled witchcraft stunts on me that hurt me. He goes there and he kills her. First of all, like I did not see him go and where he went. Okay, I did not see him go, neither did I see where he went, but I was given a vision within a dream to see where he went. So I stayed back where we all were hanging out. And then I got given a vision within a dream to see Terrence go after I came back without telling me to where my former friend was at. And when he went there, even though I did not see him go there in my dream, I understood that he went there and spoke to her and they argued over what under heaven it is that they did to me, right? They argued And then he made a decision to put a plastic bag on her face and suffocate her to death. He killed her. He killed her. Like, yeah, Terrence Howard killed that girl. When he came back to the camp where we all were hanging out, I was not sure that he had killed her, but I had a suspicion that he might have, because he had blood on his hands, right? So in my dream, I was made to see him killing her, but at the same time, when he came back, I didn't know that he killed her. Weird like that. Like, dreams are strange in that way. Whoa, look at this, like, landing on my shirt. Anyway, whatever, it's cool. I'm gonna go take a shower after this. Terrence Howard went and murdered that chick, and he murdered her because she was whatever under heaven it is that she was towards me. Okay? And when he came back, like I said, remember I told you that I had a crush on him. He never told me, I don't know if he knew that I had a crush on him or whatever, but he went out of his way, Terrence, to basically slaughter somebody that he imagined I was too namby-pamby to deal with, but she needed to be dealt with. She was basically a bully, and Ntwai Yezang is giving a bad name. What I understood Terrence Howard having done was basically the activity of, because of you, bad women, better women, think of us as black men like we're rubbish. And so if at all we neutralize you, there'll be less of a wicked opinion about us as black men. I understood that the reason why he killed my friend was because she was contributing to the decimation of their reputation as black men. But Terrence Howard had not done anything in the run-up to basically disprove the narrative. He had not done anything to convince people of otherwise. Like the bad rap, basically, that black men have in the eyes of especially black women. He, as Terrence Howard, had not done anything to be different. He had not done anything to make it better. He had not displayed that it gets like that. They're not all like that, due to the fact that, remember I told you I had a crush on him in my dream, but I did not know if he liked me back. I was entirely and comprehensively in the dark as to whether or not feelings were reciprocated here, and he saw it fit to keep me in the dark too. And after I came back all sad and all unhappy from the activity of some friend of mine that bewitched the living daylights out of my future, he made a decision to vigilantically take matters into his own hands without even telling me, because he saw me coming back sad. And he also was trying to disprove a narrative about black men being nasty or whatever, right? And he was like, to this woman, he argued with her first, remember, in the dream. And I believe the argument was something along the lines of, because of you, we all look like monsters. Because of you, we all look like monsters. Because of women like you that bewitch their friends out of futures, out of prosperities, because of you having reduced your own friend to basically a servant in her mother's house, we as black men look really bad. You could not have the back of your girl to a point where now she's crying on the rooftops about us being evil as black men. It is your fault, so you deserve to die. And then he went on right ahead and murdered my former friend. Terrence Howard, however, had not done anything to prove differently to me or to anybody else, right? So what in the world was God showing me in that dream? With Terrence Howard in particular, I'll get to the Jada Pinkett part. He was showing me that black men are low-key kind of hypocrites, right? Like in the sense that you don't want the bad rap, and you also kind of hate it when other women make it evident that you've always just been dropping the ball where women are concerned. And so rather than blame yourselves and identify that you are the one that have gone wrong in certain respects alongside women have also gone wrong, you as men have also neglected to minimize the casualties on the ground that are committed against women who are hurt by other women. You have just sat back and rather capitalized on the issue at hand. And women don't even find out that you are in love with them or you have any feelings for them until you act a bizarre fool and do her a favor by killing something that's hurting her. Like in my dream, I had a crush on Terrence Howard. Do you understand? And I did not know if he liked me back, and because I was this quiet, shy type, I imagined that he wouldn't want me. And I imagined that I was kind of ignorable by him until it became apparent that he was never ignoring me. So much so was he hearing me that when I came back all saddened from some place where I was basically getting hurt by a friend, he took matters into his own hands, yelled at that friend, and then killed her. Like all the way to the point of violence. Do you understand? So there is an anger at witchy women by men. That's what I saw in my dream. The men are hypocritically angry at little devil worshipping women, when in and of themselves they basically leave a lot to be desired. Now, why was Terrence Howard used in my dream? And even then, in the capacity of a teenager, I believe God was showing me that very same thing that I'm talking about, where it is that, like, I wanted kids, right, that were going to basically use their talents and be like, their giftedness would get discovered soon, early, and so they would be these like stars in the making, but I would do everything in my power to keep them responsible so that they don't mess with their futures. Type establishment thing. Yeah, but then when they get taken over into the entertainment industry, they destroy their souls. They mess with their lives. They tarry from God, and they pull all these different kinds of stunts. So I believe Terrence Howard was used because maybe the Lord feels that way about him. Like he was destined for better, for more. And you know, as a man, and especially as a black man, he was supposed to do better, but he didn't. And he did not do better, especially against black women. He did not love black women as he was supposed to. Even though he did love them, he did not do what was needed. And so now the collective of them are looking really bad because of their neglect and abandonment, especially of black girls. So likely just like basically men that were very talented, who had a lot going for themselves, that God wanted to use mightily, that dropped the ball because of where they found themselves working, the entertainment industry. And now years down the line, now that they're all older, they wish they could turn back the hands of time and, like Terrence Howard, end up back in the day as a kid and basically take for a wife the woman that he always that he basically had very strong feelings for when he was a kid. But it did not work out that way because he ended up in the entertainment industry. And therefore, you know how these men, especially black men, when they go into the entertainment industry, all of a sudden black girls are nothing to them. All of a sudden black girls are not worthy unless they are bordering on being white, unless they are super yellow, unless they have got light eyes like Terrence Howard, unless they're half breeds, half white, half black, or half white and half Indian, half whatever, unless they don't look anything like their moms, they don't look anything like their dads, their sisters, the chicks they grew up with in school, the regular Janes, the regular Joes that they hung out with, unless they look like basically something that was born out of a pearl from the ocean, they don't want them. But then they wake up later on to realize that, oh snap, I actually still kind of like black girls. Or the woman that I loved the most looked like Karabo. She was just a regular girl. She was just a regular Jane. But I treated her like she was nothing. Because that's just the sad and disquieting thing about black girls that look like me. Do you understand? We get mistreated and passed up by men, and then late in life, after they have basically thrown everything of themselves away, they then want to they then have regrets about how it is that they did not love the women who loved them. They have regrets about how it is that they did not love women that they knew loved them, but for them it was like, I am Terrence Howard now. I am Mr. ABC now. Like, I am sought after now. I am wanted by all different kinds of women. And so black men, what God was showing me with Terrence Howard is that black men, when they gain success, when they get big in whatever capacity, Terrence Howard is in the entertainment industry. But like the ones who even make it in corporate, like as CEOs, just big chunky businessmen, whatever. Yeah, as soon as they get into that arena, when they get their success and their prosperity, the women that they loved a lot when they were kids, that they frankly never really forgot about, but who look really very regular, they treat them like trash. Like, just look at what Dwayne Wade did with his regular Jane wife, the first wife, not Gabrielle Union. Look at what he did. And I believe the pressure with Dwayne Wade came with the fact that he was now this NBA star, and he, like, it was imagined of him that the woman that was on his armpit was not, like, you know, in his league. it was not like the right quality of women, when they're not looking at quality based on what's going on in the heart of a woman, but they're looking at quality as like basically an outward appearance. Like these celebrities, Hollywood stars, and successful men, other successful men in the world, whether or not they're celebrities in the entertainment industry, man oh man, how they equate virtue with basically bright yellow skin, or women that don't look black at all. They're like almost white or whatever. And these are men that have in their lives had very strong feelings for regular black girls. But they imagine that money has made it such that they now don't have to focus on that anymore. Or like that essentially it is not worth their while to look at these women. But then remember, their hearts don't change. It is the mindsets of the world around them that change. Their feelings for women, or who it is that they prefer, or what they want in a woman, that does not really change. What changes is world influence around them that keeps on telling them, don't waste your time with this kind of girl. And so therefore, a lot of regular black girls like me, have been mistreated severely by men because of the fact that we are dark-skinned, or we are just typically black. Like there's nothing extra special about us other than just being black girls. And apparently that then also discourages virtue from out of our bones. It says that insofar as we look black, we are typically black. There's nothing of us mixed. There's nothing in our bodies that suggests that our mother was Puerto Rican and our dad black. We're just pure black. That's it. It is such women as these that get mistreated by black men, and sometimes also the ones that they fell in love with hard and fast when they were kids. Women that they adored like every bone in their body, they would have done anything for, but then they made money, they got wealthy, they became essentially like kings on the earth. And that money making caused them to mistreat such women so badly that these girls ended up kind of embittered, right? And then because black women are in the business of abandoning one another, I spoke about that yesterday, do you understand? At length, black chicks, yesterday or day before or whatever, black chicks have this thing that they do where because of how severely mistreated and abandoned by their men they then mistreat and abandon each other. It's like a coping strategy, a coping mechanism of black girls. And so far, it's every man for himself. So essentially, the behavior of my friends, the behavior of even that friend that bewitched the living daylights out of me in my dream that mistreated me, is a byproduct of black man's mistreatment. They are like that. So they don't come to the party. They don't pull their weight. They don't do what they ought. And then when women react by basically being just these beastly like uncaring, unloving, unfeeling, feisty, like manifesting demons all up in everybody's grill, these men then want to go and blame them because they do not want to be viewed in bad light by women that they love. Women that they loved, that they however treated like nothing's up here. Like the bit of a scum of the earth type setup thing. Like mistreating this lady chica because you think you can find your, white looking black woman or it's just full on white woman in the entertainment industry. You marry her, and not that there's anything wrong with marrying white women, go on, you know what I mean? But don't marry white women just because they're white and you are a star. On that day, you are actually putting that white woman in misfortune because she wants love and not to be fetishized or to be used as a weapon against black women. She just wants to be loved. I don't know of any woman that does not want just basic love type thing. But like when you use white women against black women, then on that day, you are robbing white women and black women of affection. You are robbing everybody of affection. You are robbing everybody of affection because now you're competing women with each other type thing. And there are black men who are waking up in marriages with women that were frankly number 2 in their hearts, or 3 or 4 or 5, but who had a particular outward appearance. And so because of how they look outwardly, these men were like, I'm going to be respected and regarded and heralded as a man if I will marry this woman. And so they went on right ahead and grabbed for themselves a woman based on nothing but appearances, at the expense of the woman that he truly does love. And then when this woman is busy crying on the rooftops, lamenting years later, still in poverty, suffering, everybody treating her like trash because every man treats that kind of girl like trash. Yeah, he's now feeling some kind of way, because really and truly, when a man loves a woman, he will always feel like wanting to be a little bit of a rabobi, a little bit of a Spider-Man, Superman, rescuing the day. No man wants to see a woman that he loves just moaning and groaning and wailing and complaining about how all men ain't jack, when he was in a position to love her, and so therefore her not be endured through that level of rubbish. And in my dream, Terrence Howard I guess loved me, right? Of course, this is a dream. Let's just keep that out there. That he, after I lamented about mistreatment, I didn't lament, I came back sad from somewhere where I was mistreated by a friend, and he decided to go and kill that friend. The way that he now was overkilling. He got to a point where he had ignored his affections for me so much that in order for me to see that not all of these guys are nasty little doggy dogs in a pound, that he went to a point of murder. Like, he killed her. Like, he properly killed that friend of mine. Like, overkill, basically. Like, his reaction was an overkill. First, he argued with her, and then he murdered her. He put a plastic bag around her face and murdered her. That's what Terrence Howard done did to a woman that was mistreating a woman that he did not even tell that he loved her. This chick liked him. He would never under heaven allow himself to confess that he liked her back, because she looked a particular way. She looked like me. And me, nochal, that back in the day was very shy. I was the quiet, shy type. Back in the day, I was extremely reserved. I've always been that way. I already communicated that. And because he did not want being the Mr. Popular that he was, because he did not want to be basically the guy dating the shy girl that nobody talks to, that can't talk to anybody because she's just so shy, while he is the star in the making. Yeah, he, rather than confess that, look, I really like this girl, he instead acted kind of passive aggressively towards her. Do you understand? And then went and murdered on her behalf when she was sad. So instead of telling her you love her, telling her that you will take care of her, and so therefore not even allowing her, putting her in out of harm's way to a point where she would get afflicted by a bad friend, instead of doing a better thing as a man in that regard, you then go and kill to prove that you're a man and that not all black men are nasties. And in the dream, he still never pursued me. He never did anything to suggest that I like you. He just went and killed someone that made me sad. He killed someone that made me sad. So what I believe God is showing me in that dream was that they get to a point, these men, who once they have gone and succeeded, done whatever they wanted to do, they then realize that life is more than just money. Life is more than just flash and pizzazz. Life is companionship. Life is relationships. And when then they miss women that they've always loved, they then end up acting like brave little Neanderthals who will murder when their camps are being raided by threats. So given that these women would have been the tantamount of their wives, they then act like Neanderthals who, upon being threatened in their camps, would kill whatever threat is coming at their wives to preserve their wives. But they're not their wives. And also, it's not the days of the Neanderthals. So you don't just get to go murder the women that hurt this woman. You don't just kill, dude. Like, what are you doing? Like, you don't just go and do a death spell. You don't display that you can be a man after failing to be a man by killing whatever it is that was the threat around the woman you love. Yeah, you don't go back years down the line after passing up on the one, literally the one, okay? And then kill everything that has ever broken her heart, because now all of a sudden you don't want that woman looking at you like you stank. That, I believe, was what God was showing me. Like, the fact that Terrence Howard went and killed some friend of mine from back in the day that put witchcraft on me was just God showing me the reaction by black men after messing up once they make money, once they go out there in the future and successfully get what they want, and then go and marry Njefela, some girl, because she's got like green eyes, and hurt the woman that you've always loved. When all that comes like flying, kicking you, because you want love now, you want companionship, you want somebody with whom you basically get along, or you both gel and juice. So I am quite musically talented, right? But I can't play instruments or whatever. And Terrence Howard, his gifting, I guess, in waking life is similar to what I have going down for myself, right? So I guess what God was also likely showing with that is compatibility. Like women with whom they are very compatible, like in every regard. Like they are both, let's say, musically talented. They could do a ballad together, killing it, kicking it, and body bagging it. Okay, yeah, they could together, the two of them, be basically an artist pair. All right. But she's not pretty enough, or at least according to the standards of this world. And she is also not clouty enough, and she's not getting enough Hollywood executives knocking on her door. So, whatever, no. But when you can make good music with a woman, when you can basically be the star that you are with a woman, the two of y'all just kick it and kill it. You know, you're playing the guitar, she's singing, or whatever. When you are that pairing with a woman, you are highly unlikely going to find that ever again. You are highly unlikely going to discover that again. So what Terrence Howard was basically a man with whom in my dream we were musically aligned. We were, never mind musically, but also theatrically aligned. Like similar personalities. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And yet he went on right ahead and chose somebody else type establishment thing. So maybe God used Terrence Howard for those reasons. Men who don't marry the right women based on how compatible they are with them, and they are black men who don't marry the right women and who marry women just based on what they imagine society is going to be happy is on their arms. They just go for the prettiest non-black girls, like really exotic looking Brazilian dames or Portuguese Latina dames, whatever. Right? I ain't hating on these women, not even in the slightest. They in and of themselves are also unfortunated, whatever even is the word over there, by these men. Because really, frankly, everybody needs love. Everybody needs love. And if at all a man is snatching you up because you've got those light eyes and you look basically not black, yeah, and that's the only reason he's marrying you. He is not marrying you because he actually truly is compatible with you, and everything about you guys is like working together like proper swimmingly. Are you rolling these streets? If that's not the reason you are marrying a woman, then you are putting yourself in a position to later on wake up and realize that it would have been much better for you to marry a woman that you adored, that you got along with, that you have similar interests to, even though she is not a typical flaming beauty, like that which men in the entertainment industry insist on putting rings on the fingers of. Tyrese is another one that found himself in that position. If you look at the marriage, I got Denzel Washington. He's married to a regular Jane. Do you understand? Samuel L. Jackson too. Regular Jane. And they're still married to this day. Snoop Dogg, regular Jane. T.I., regular Jane. Like men who married regular Jane women and did not allow the entertainment industry to basically take them off with the tsunami of insisting on marrying basically, you know, either white looking black women or white women or anything other than black girls, like just a very exotic beauty, which really truly everybody needs love, including the exotic beauties. But like when that's the only reason you're making a decision for marriage, on that day you're gonna find yourself missing your plain girl that you got along with nonetheless, your plain Jane that you were absolutely hand to glove mixed with. And God used Terrence Howard in my dream. I do not know why. I don't even know who Terrence Howard is married to, right? I don't follow him that closely. But one thing that was true in the dream is that he acted like a Superman in my dream. Do you understand? Superman, Superman, when I was in distress. But it was like he was a teenager. So was I, right? But I was shy, I was quiet, and nobody was looking at me, but everybody was looking at him. And he was, like I said, Superman when I was a damsel in distress, but Superman that came a good 20 years too late. Superman that rocked up to rescue Lois after realizing that it's always been Lois and that he's Clark, but like first he married Louisa instead of Lois, and now he wants to come back to Louisa because it's always been Louisa. They wake up at some point, these men, especially like black men, they get successful and then they underestimate black girls, and in so underestimating us hurt us. and in so hurting us, then cause us to be so embittered that we now think all black men are trashy doggy dogs. And when then the women that they love feel that way about them, who upon being like absolutely and excruciatingly abused by the whole planet, then only they overkill to show that they can do better. And in my dream, Terrence Howard done gone right ahead and killed a woman that was hurting me. Overkill. That was an overkill reaction. If he had just loved me in the first place properly, without compromise, there would not have needed to be, the altercation that he would later encounter with a woman that was treating me badly. They're trying to make it look like women are the ones, and I've spoken about this before, that are the root cause of women abandonment, that women are the root cause for women mistreatment, women's sorrow, women issuesomeness. But at the end of the day, Jesus gave a responsibility for taking care of everybody, men, women, and children alike, to men. They're the patriarchy. They are the leaders. They're the ones that are supposed to rule and reign. They're those guys. And so when these okies that are men don't do that, goodness gracious, when societies fall apart, guys, you did it. It's not the women. When women suddenly become immoral, do you understand? When women become immoral, you largely are to blame, because women don't usually just kind of start off immoral. They're very heavily influenced by men. They are influenced in their behavior. They are reactionary that way to men. So what men do, what men commence, what men start in these streets, like hugely influences how women react. Goodness gracious, give me lighting. I cannot be using my finger right now because it is so grimy with product. Yeah, no, guys. So Terrence Howard's reaction was literally too late in my dream, and not only was it too late, it was also an overkill, because frankly, the death of a female afflictor of my person was not necessary, given that her strange behavior likely commenced precisely because of her observation of the fact that ain't no man here to protect me. Nobody is here to stand by me. Women act a butch fool against each other. Do you understand? Because of men. Like, I cannot say that enough. Like, men influence how women treat each other and how women respond to one another. And because black men are happy to proliferate fellow female hatred, they're happy to keep women hating each other. Women are now bashing each other's heads into walls. Do you understand? Because Lama Totalawa appeared to be proud of the discord in the female community. I cannot say that enough. Wait a second, I did bring paper towels. I can say why the abuser with these grimy hands when I want to stop recording and move to the next part. To this upper part. As you can see, I've been ripping my hair out with this comb, but I'm like no longer going to be doing these hairstyles that stay on my head for long. So it's the last time I'm hurting my strands. But I mean, look at my hair, it's growing, isn't it? Yeah, lovely.